I can't believe we actually got this on camera. Because in 20 seasons of Sister Wives, we have watched Kody Brown talk circles around everyone. We've watched him rewrite history, twist the timeline, weaponize religion, weaponize plural marriage principles, and somehow always slide out of accountability like he's covered in oil. Every time a wife tried to explain what he did, he would dismiss it. Every time a kid tried to call him out, he would blame their mother. Every time viewers screamed at their TVs, Kody would just keep on doing what Kody does, because nobody in his orbit could fully stop the narrative machine. Until David Woolley, and the reason this moment is so powerful is because David didn't come in with rage. He didn't come in with drama. He didn't come in with a petty, "I'm the new man. Look at me." He came in with clarity, and clarity is the one thing narcissistic manipulation cannot survive. Because manipulation needs fog, it needs confusion, it needs people second, guessing themselves. It needs the maybe I'm overreacting mindset. It needs everyone walking on eggshells and trying to keep the peace while the manipulator quietly controls the entire room. David didn't do fog. David did, I call bullsh fate. And that right there, that is why this clip is going viral. Because in less than 2 minutes, David Woolley dismantled 30 years of Kody's narrative. 30 years of pretending he's the wise elder. 30 years of pretending plural marriage made him some kind of relationship genius. 30 years of pretending he was the victim of disrespect and disloyalty and bad sister-wife behavior. David walked in, listened for 60 seconds, and basically said, "Oh, so you're just selfish." And Kody had nothing. No rebuttal, no lecture, no smug little speech, no dramatic walk-off, nothing. Just silence. And when Kody goes silent, that's when you know he's been hit where it hurts. So today, we're breaking down the most important 60 seconds in Sister Wives history. The moment David Woolley exposed Kody's manipulation and narcissism right to his face. After what I'm calling a truly disgusting territorial love confession to Christine that had one goal, to insert himself into a relationship that is not his anymore. And before we start, I need you to drop a comment. Was David out of line? Or was David the first person to finally say what everyone has been thinking for years? Because I already know the comments on this one are going to be insane. All right, let's set the stage. This moment starts with Kody doing what Kody always does, performing superiority. Kody opens with that plural marriage expert routine. You know, the one, the gatekeeping, the condescension, the idea that polygamy made him some elevated being with secret knowledge that monogamous peasants can't possibly understand. David's a guy. Guys think they've got things figured out. Plural marriage teaches you that you don't know. And at first glance, if you don't know Kody, that could sound like wisdom, like, hey, relationships are complicated. But if you do know Kody, you can hear the manipulation immediately, because Kody isn't saying relationships are complicated in a humble way. He's saying it in a way that positions David as naive and positions himself as the wise elder. It's a power move. It's Kody setting up the chessboard where he's the teacher and David is the student. And why would Kody want that? Because if David is the student, then Kody's failures aren't actually failures. They're complex life lessons. If David doesn't understand, then Kody doesn't have to admit he destroyed a family. He can pretend it was just too hard. This is classic narcissistic reframing. Turn catastrophic failure into specialized knowledge that other people are too simple to comprehend. But here's the issue. Kody isn't a relationship expert. Kody is a relationship arsonist. He didn't learn the hard lessons of plural marriage. He weaponized plural marriage to avoid responsibility. He used principles like a shield. He used respect like a demand. He used loyalty like a leash. And the results speak for themselves. 3 divorces, a fractured family, kids who don't talk to him, and a reputation so toxic that even casual viewers can spot his patterns within 5 seconds. And Kody still wants to be treated like he's wise. Then he says something even more revealing. David doesn't know yet that he doesn't know. That line is dripping with condescension, because what Kody is really saying is, you're going to fail like I did, and when you do, you'll realize it wasn't my fault. He's predicting David's future struggle to justify his own past failure. It's preemptive vindication. And it's also weirdly bitter. Because let's be honest, if you were truly at peace, you wouldn't need David to fail to make yourself feel better. But Kody does, because David's existence is a walking contradiction to Kody's narrative. David treats Christine well, This wasn't Kody showing up as a generous father. This was a test. David extended an invitation to see if Kody could show up for the kids and not make it about himself. Can he behave? Can he co-parent? Can he keep his ego in check? Can he respect Christine's new life? Can he prioritize the children? And David says Kody failed. He failed because it became all about what he wanted to say. Not what the kids needed, not what the situation required, not what would create peace. What Kody wanted to say. And then David lands the 5 words that could summarize Kody's entire existence. It's all about what he wants. That's the kill shot. Because those 5 words decode everything. Every fight, every divorce, every respect lecture, every complaint about loyalty. Every time he abandoned a kid and justified it. Every time he punished a wife with emotional withdrawal. Every time he blamed everyone else for a situation he created. It's all about what he wants. And Kody can't argue with that because it's true. That's why he goes silent. That's why he has no response. Because how do you rebut a pattern that everyone has watched for 20 seasons? You can't. Now, here's why this moment hits so hard for viewers. David is an outsider. He hasn't been conditioned by Kody for decades. He hasn't been bonded in that family system. He isn't financially tied to Kody. He isn't religiously obligated to honor the patriarch. He has no reason to tolerate manipulation. So he sees clearly. And when you see clearly, you can name things that people inside the system struggled to name. Mary, Janelle, Christine. Each of them tried to explain Kody's patterns, but Kody always had a way to dismiss them. He'd call them bitter. He'd call them jealous. He'd say they were being dramatic. He'd say they didn't understand plural marriage. But David is a man. And that matters here because Kody has spent 30 years discounting women's perspectives. Kody listens differently when it's a man. Kody respects differently when it's a man. Kody fears differently when it's a man. And when David, who Kody himself called likable, looks at him and says, "I call bullshit," Kody doesn't have his usual weapon. He can't easily call David jealous. He can't easily call David dramatic. He can't easily say David doesn't understand women. He has to sit there and absorb the fact that a geese guy just labeled his behavior for what it is. Manipulation, territorial control, ego-driven nonsense. And what makes it even worse for Kody is that David is everything Kody pretends to be. Kody loves to talk about being a good man. Kody loves to talk about protecting his family. Kody loves to talk about leadership. But leadership isn't demanding obedience. Leadership is serving people. David serves Christine emotionally. David shows up for the kids. David keeps the focus where it belongs. David doesn't need to be the star. Kody can't relate to that because Kody needs the spotlight, like oxygen. Now, let's talk about the most important psychological piece: why clarity destroys narcissism. Narcissistic manipulation thrives on confusion. Confusion creates dependency. Confusion makes people second, guess their instincts. Confusion keeps people trapped in cycles of maybe I'm wrong. Kody has used confusion for years. He'd say something cruel and then claim he didn't. He'd change the meaning of words like loyalty and respect, depending on what served him. He'd rewrite history. He'd blame everyone else for his choices. He'd create chaos and then act like he was the victim of the chaos. That only works if other people hesitate to name it. David doesn't hesitate. David labels the tactic. He names the boundary violation. He points out the ego. He calls it bullshit, and once it's named, it can't be unnamed. That's why this clip is so satisfying to viewers. Because it's the moment someone finally refuses to play Kody's game. Now, what does this mean for Christine? It means validation. It means the thing Christine has needed for years. Someone who sees her truth and protects her from further manipulation. Christine doesn't need rescuing. She rescued herself. But she does deserve a partner who says, "No, you don't get to disrespect my wife." And David did that calmly, clearly, on camera. That is love. That is protection. That is what Christine should have had all along. And for the people who say, Christine moved on too fast, I need you to understand. When you spend years starving emotionally, the first time you experience real love can feel like oxygen. David isn't just a husband. He's a contrast. He's proof. He's proof that Christine wasn't unlovable. She was just stuck with a man who only loved himself. Now, what does this mean for Kody? It means humiliation, because Kody's entire identity rests on superiority, being the patriarch, being the expert, being the one who knows. David stripped that away in real time, and Kody can't unsee it. Because Kody now knows David sees him. Not the performance, not the speeches, the pattern. And once someone sees the pattern, the manipulation loses power. Now, what happens next? Kody will likely try to rewrite the moment later. He'll complain in confessionals. He'll claim he was misunderstood. He'll say David disrespected him. He'll say Christine is turning people against him. He'll try to turn it into a me versus the world story, because that's what he does when he's exposed. But here's the issue. The clip exists. The silence exists. David's words exist. And viewers have receipts. This moment will follow Kody forever. Every time he lectures about marriage, people will remember the electrician from Utah calling bullshit fate. Every time he calls himself wise, people will remember that he failed the show up for the kids' test. Every time he complains about respect, people will remember he disrespected Christine's marriage right in front of her husband. And that's why this isn't just a great reality television moment. It's a turning point. It's the moment the show stopped being wives trapped in Kody's fog and became Kody exposed by someone who isn't trapped. And that's what fans have wanted. Not more crying, not more vague, it's complicated. Not more lectures about plural marriage, truth, clarity, accountability. David delivered all three in under 2 minutes. So here's my question to you, and I want you to answer it in the comments. Do you think Kody will ever learn from this? Or will he double down and punish Christine emotionally from afar the way he always does? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that Kody doesn't change when he's confronted. He changes tactics. And if you want the next breakdown, because there's a bigger pattern here about territorial narcissism, triangulation, and why Kody cannot tolerate being irrelevant, make sure you're subscribed, because the next episode is going to dig into why Kody's love confession wasn't love at all. It was control, and David wasn't having it,